Yo guys, Features Gaming here, welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today I'm going to be showing you my setup for 2025. Now I have gone with the MOZA setup, so the first thing that we're going to do is unbox these, build the rig up, and then I'll do a review later, and then I'll do a review afterwards. So let's start off with unboxing the different things. So the first thing that I have gone for is a MOZA R9 V2 wheelbase, so let's go ahead and unbox it. So under one box and under another one, and we lift these things up. We, to start off with, have a bit of like a bag here, which we have an instruction manual and some stickers as well, which we can use to decorate later. And then we have some foam padding. So in here, I believe this is potentially going to be the cable that we use to power the entire thing. So if I get this out, I believe this is what you would connect to the PC with the USB cable. That is what you connect to the wheelbase. And then we have the power cable that actually connects the wheelbase to the mains. So that is also one of the crucial things that you need. And then we have some foam padding here, which we are going to remove, which is quite actually stuck in there, to be fair. And inside we have a bag here, which I'm actually going to get out later. I'm going to get this part out first, if I can get underneath it. Actually, yeah, I need to take out the wheelbase. And this is the wheelbase itself. So as you can see, we have a lovely bag here that does say MOZA Racing. So let's go ahead and get the actual wheelbase out of the bag, and as you can see, this is the wheelbase. So let's lift it up. That is where you attach your wheel, and then on the back we have all of the different connectors that you need to connect your different accessories. And then also in here we have, if I can get this out, the power brick required. This part would go into the back of the wheelbase, and that is how you would get power to your wheelbase. The next thing we are going to unbox is the SRP pedals. So let's go ahead and open the box and see what we have. So once again, we have a big chunk of polystyrene. So let's try and get this out. Obviously this is quite heavy as well. I think everything might actually be included, or while we do actually have the instruction manual here, and also more stickers. You can't get shy of stickers when you order from MOZA. So if we remove the polystyrene thing, we can see here, I believe this is the metal plate that you mount the pedals onto. So the pedals you would mount individually to your liking. And if we get that out, the thing, you can see it goes up this way. So this is where you would probably rest your heel, and you have different mounting options for where you want to space out the pedals. And then if we go ahead and remove another layer of the polystyrene, we have the individual pedals themselves. Now this is a 2-pedal set, but I also got a clutch pedal along with it as an additional purchase. So if we go ahead and remove this out of the polystyrene, and we go ahead and open it up as well, we can grab it and lift it up. And I believe this is the brake pedal that I've got, and you can see they have different connectors here to attach it to the wheel, and this is the brake as well. So it is a spring / load cell pedal, so it's angle and load cell censored, and I can't even decompress this with my own hands, so it's going to be very good for racing. And then we also have the accelerator here as well. So let me go ahead and get it out of the polystyrene. And if we go ahead and remove the packaging of this one, you can see this is the accelerator with the exact same connectors as well. And this one is just standard angle censored like a normal accelerator, and it has a full flat plate as well to rest your feet on, which is actually better because it means you can just completely rest your foot on there, not just like one plate above to use. And then we also have the power that you need to connect it. So if I can figure out how to open this. So here we have loads of different mounting, nuts and bolts and wrenches that you need to attach it. And here you have the different connectors to connect it to your wheelbase as well. So that is also something that you need to attach them to your wheelbase. And like I said, I got an additional clutch pedal, so let's go ahead and open that as well. So again, we have a lot of polystyrene as well. So give me again another few minutes to try and get this out. So if we go ahead and remove the layer, as you can see, we have pretty much the exact same thing. So let's go ahead and get this out and out of the bag. And this is what we have. So it's the exact same as the brake, but obviously this one doesn't have any load cell. It is just purely angle censored. And as you can see, the mounting screws as well. So that is how you connect it to the plate, and obviously the cable to connect it to your wheelbase as well. And the mounting screws needed in this plastic bag as well. And obviously the biggest thing of any setup is the wheel itself. Now I do actually have another one that is currently on delivery, so I'll do an unboxing of that when that comes as well. I'll just fit this in, or I'll just fit that in after this, but let's go ahead and unbox this truck sim wheel that I got. So once again, we have a lot of polystyrene once again, and I think it's going to be a bit tricky to get out, to be honest. I hope I'm laying this down the right way. So let's go ahead and remove this polystyrene, and once again we have another instruction manual and stickers to customize the truck sim wheel to your liking. And here itself is the actual wheel, so it comes in again another nice bag with MOZA branding on it. So let's go ahead and get this out of the package as well. Now I have no idea if this is going to be the right way, but if we remove the packaging, this is the brand new MOZA Racing truck sim wheel that I have. So when I'm trucking on my games, I'll hopefully be using it like a thing, and you've got all of the different things that you can use on there as well. So you have the indicators there, but obviously I'm getting another accessory as well, which is still on delivery as well. And you have things like radio buttons, cruise control, obviously analog sticks to adjust where you're looking maybe, headlights, and loads of different things that you have that you can customize to be on this wheel. So like I said, I have another wheel and another MOZA accessory still on delivery, so let me show you the unboxing of those. So now that the FSR2 wheel has arrived, let's go ahead and unbox it. So with the lid taken off, we immediately have some stickers and a user manual guide in this package, and then we have another bag which I assume is pretty much the exact same as we received the wheelbase, and I'm trying to figure out how I even get this out. Well, I've gotten the handles of the wheel, so let's go ahead and remove the bag. Oh, it's knotted. Brilliant. There we go. So let's go ahead and remove. And here we go. This is the FSR2 wheel. So it has 6 paddles on the back. I assume these are probably the clutches, or these are the clutches, and they are the shifters as well. And obviously all of these buttons will be illuminated once they are on the rig and ready to go. And yeah, this is the new wheel. We've got obviously different dials and buttons to use. I am fairly sure, to my memory, all of these are programmable, so analog sticks, and they can even push in as well. And you can hear the buttons. Even though you can hear them, they're not as loud as my previous wheel, and obviously, I mean, they're a little bit loud, but they're not nearly as loud as my SF1000, I don't think. But that is my FSR2 wheel, so let's go ahead and set this up on the rig. But obviously the next thing we need to get unboxed as well is the multi-function stalks, which are still yet to come. But when they come, I'll obviously unbox them as well. And a month later, we finally have the stalks. So let's go ahead and unbox those and also get those set up along with the other things. So once again, it comes in another one of the bit of foaming. So I need to try and get this out carefully. There we go. And obviously this is quite long, because obviously it's supposed to cover the span of like the entire truck sim wheel, as you can see on the box there. And if we go ahead and open the cover, we also have another bit of the cover here as well. We can see, firstly, we have a bit of the mounting here, and there is actually 2 options of how you can mount this, but this is the one that I might do. You basically screw this part onto the top of the wheelbase and then put the stalks onto that. This is the, I think it's like a short extender that you need, so it doesn't stick literally on your wheelbase, because obviously you need a bit of space for this unit to obviously mount onto, apart from, you know, the space in between the base and the wheel base and the wheel rim. And here we have a wire for updating the firmware of the base, and also a few more screws and things that you need to mount it. And now let's get the unit out. Now I have no idea how I'm going to get this out without damaging the thing, to be honest, because it is quietly in there. So I might, oh wait, have I got a perched up head down here? I think I do. So let's go ahead and grab it like that, and here we go. So let's go ahead and get it out of the packaging, and as you can see, this is the multi-function stalks. So it's supposed to signify, oh, I think it's actually the Is it the wrong? That's the way around. So obviously you've got things supposed to be like the indicators, you've got things like cruise control as well on the bottom left, and you've got things like window wipers and all of that stuff that you need like you would have in a real car and truck. So let's go ahead and set this all up along with along with the other things as well. So for the rig, I got a new racing wheel stand, which is the Apex wheel stand, which is much more sturdier than my last wheel stand thanks to the additional support beam. The instructions were clear enough to follow, but could have been made a bit more clearer, such as easier identifiable screws. I also received the chair link modification for this wheel stand to keep your chair in place when racing, but unfortunately after test fitting it in my very limited spaced bedroom, we had to take it off. So now we are going to start setting up the rig. Now the first thing that I do want to show you is the throttle. So this is what we've discovered. So this is basically the main unit of the pedals. Everything from the brake and the clutch, which I've got beside me, plug into the actual throttle pedal, and on the other side as well it also has some different connectors. So if I switch back over to that one, you can probably see how they've got like different labels, for each slot. So, for example, you put your brake and your low cell brake cable in that one, you put your clutch in the middle one, and then you put your brake position sensor on the most right one, I think, for you guys. And then on the other side you have the USB that goes to your PC if you are connecting it to your PC, or you have the wheelbase. So you have either one, and then obviously you have the actual throttle cable for that one. So this cable would go into that one right there. So we need to do that for all of the cables, and then after we do that, mount it onto my rig. So now that we've got the throttle plugged into the throttle unit, which I will say I don't know if I like the design of, because obviously if the throttle breaks, then your whole pedal set is sort of broken. But now we need to go ahead and mount it. So we have a lot of nuts and bolts here to use. So we just need to find the right one and get putting these into the pedal plate.
What you actually do is you actually feed
you feed it underneath.
And you actually feed it through.
Ah, so that design I actually like. It's more it's more cable managed as well. Yeah. I think you're the better screwer.
It says dropping out. It's because you said that. So you just say anything.
You screw it up, that's what you do.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Okay.
That is now your pedals.
The pedal set. Now it's taken us a while to figure out what we were going to do with the pedal. So basically I'm going to summarize it quickly in one clip, because what we found out is these bolt holes didn't really line up with the framing of the stand. As you can see, we have three sort of things here to basically mount the bolts onto, and obviously put washers and nuts on the other side to basically stop this from moving. So we first started off with these ones down here, but what that did is it lifted the back of the pedals up basically, so it wasn't like securely fastened down, and that was a little bit annoying when I was like pushing on the pedals, applying force, and basically the pedals were like moving all over the place. Similarly, if we just bolted these ones up the top, the foot plate would basically lift up, and again that got a bit annoying as well. So what we had to do is basically tilt the thing about 3 degrees to the right, so you really can't notice anything when you're driving. It still feels natural. And we got the 2 bolts secured at the bottom, and then we also mounted one to the throttle here, and that keeps it all level and doesn't move when you're applying force to these pedals. And the layout I went for the 3 pedals as well is I have the throttle on the most right hand side of the frame, I have the brake one sort of in the middle but slightly to the left, and then there's literally a slight gap here where I put the clutch. So the clutch is on the very left one, the brake is there, and the throttle is mostly to the right, because what I want to do is basically have these two sort of in the middle, and then have the clutch for me to use whenever I want to shift manually. So that's basically how I have set up my pedals, and that's something I really like about MOZA. You can customize your pedals exactly how you like. So now with the pedals in place, let's do the wheelbase. Oh yeah, we do need the instructions, because I don't know which the mounting holes are.
The instructions, the mounting holes are on the rig.
4 and 5. So 4 is.
You can have it far back on the plate, or you can have it forward on the plate.
Probably the rear. And this one.
You see that one already?
It's going to be in here. But at least that's in.
That's in. This needs to come off, I take it. What does it say on that?
Let me get a close up of this. As part of MOZA's quick release process, it has passed a durability test which causes slight marks on the quick release surface, and then it in Chinese. So I think what we need to do is we need to go ahead and remove that sticker. and we basically plug the wheel into that. And make sure when you're plugging in new steering wheels, this triangle here is at the top, and you have like a ring around with all of the ball bearings that are on your wheel. Because if I go down to the wheel,
there's 6 at the top and 4 at the bottom.
you can see there's 6 at the top of my wheel, and then on the bottom there's 4 there. So all you do is get it the right way around, and you simply plug it in and then push it.
Push in, because you have to go across to the ball bearings. That's it.
And there we go, it's now in. And then to remove it, you basically pull backwards on the block and slide it out, and that is how you quickly attach and detach the wheel. Okay, right, it's been plugged into the PC. Yeah, and then you need to press the power button. Where's the power button? There it is. Power on, stand away. Oh, I wish I recorded that from the front actually. And it's glowing. Is it doing the spinning around?
It might not need to, I don't know.
I don't know if it's how do I know that it's connected though?
Well, it's glowing, so right, now have you got the software installed?
Okay, yes. Let's go ahead and open up the software on the PC now. So what we are doing now is we are updating the R9 wheelbase, as that has an update, and if we have another one for the trucking wheel and the pedals, it will also do that simultaneously as well. And then once we do that, we need to fix this into the right position, so I'm not driving down here, you know, it should be brought up, and do a final adjustment on the pedals, wire everything up, even though I don't know if we're going to be able to do that today, and then get using it. And with the FSR2 wheel, very simply, we once again peel the sticker off from the back of the wheel, and you obviously put that away because it's obviously sticky, and then you very simply plug it onto the wheelbase, and you now have an FSR wheel on your wheelbase. And this is what my wheelbase looks like with the stalks on. So as you can see, there is an extension rod that you have to install to there be a bit more space between the wheelbase and your wheel. And if you can see, that's the space that you have. And the installation is fairly simple. What you need to do is you need to install these screw things over here. As you can see, there's supposed to be one on all 4 sides, but there's one at the bottom left that I wasn't able to install because it wasn't really screwing in correctly. So I'm not really too sure what was happening with that one. And then inside of this metallic plate, there are screws in here that you have to basically screw in, and they screw into these, as you can see, and that basically holds these stalks in place, and it snaps on basically magnetically as well. So basically it's already on, and the stalks are absolutely perfect. You know, wipers on this side, you have 3 steps, and then you have a one-time activation. Click down the indicators this way, you know, this side, so you can signal left, signal right, as you can see, and then obviously it will auto, you know, center itself as well, like after you finish turning left. And then you have the cruise control. You have an on and off switch here, which is basically a toggle up and down, and then obviously a push thing. With the indicators, you can push inwards and outwards as well. Obviously you have the light switch here as well, the fog light thing here, which doesn't really do anything. And obviously over here you've got this, you know, toggle, which again doesn't really do anything. You can map this to obviously be different things. Obviously you've got a 5-stage sort of switch here. I've actually mapped this to the gearbox, so basically that's automatic, that's reverse, and then anywhere in the middle is basically neutral. And you can push in this one as well, which gives you a different activation. And as you can see, that is what it looks like on the Pit House software. You're supposed to use the ETS2 and ATS one, but you can use the, you know, the second profile if you so wish, if you plan on using this in different games. And I have to say, the immersion with this is absolutely incredible. I've literally tested it out for like 2 hours and it feels absolutely wonderful. So definitely recommend getting this if you are wanting to get full immersion in your trucking simulators. But I think what I'll do now is do a bit more testing with it and then give you my final review in a few weeks when I have had time to fully test out this kit. So it has been quite a while since I showed you the stalk setup. It's now June, so as you can see, I've got my trucking wheel basically on my rig right now because I have been testing it a bit more this morning, and I've also been using my FSR2 wheel as well. And I have to say, I was a bit worried when I got the stalks and then I was going to put on my FSR2 wheel if that was going to cause me to have or to clash with my stalks. I absolutely had fine clearance, and obviously using this as well, I mean, that's the gap that you get. It's about like finger width between the actual, you know, end of the stalk and the wheel, as you can see. But honestly, it's completely fine. You know, I mostly just drive sort of like this anyway, so like my middle finger is sort of resting on the stalks anyway. And honestly, it's just amazing to literally just turn on the wipers simply just by, you know, activating this whatever you need to, and then obviously if you need to indicate, basically just doing that to activate the indicators. And like I said, you know, it also centers as well, or it also turns off when the steering wheel returns to the center, which is honestly so good. And honestly, it's just brought out another level of me using this wheel. And honestly, when I first started using the trucking wheel, even without the stalks, it basically reignited my passion for trucking, which was absolutely amazing, and it kind of made me want to effectively be a truck driver again. So very good that I got this. And then obviously the stalks just added a whole nother level as well. It literally feels like I am driving the proper truck in the game and not just a simulator, which is absolutely fantastic. And honestly, I can't wait until it's something like winter or something where they have a World of Trucks event, and honestly I just spend the whole day on Euro Truck effectively, you know, doing those jobs and stuff. And yeah, I'm just so happy being able to get this wheel. It honestly feels fantastic, and obviously the direct drive force feedback base as well really helps with the force feedback that you get through the wheel as well. It honestly feels so much more realistic rather than it, you know, just a gear or belt driven thing, you know, just basically being your only sort of, you know, feedback that you get. With a direct drive, it does feel very realistic, which is very well, you know, which is very good. And I should mention as well the FSR2 wheel as well. When I use that on Formula One, it is honestly fantastic as well. I will say I'm probably not as good at the moment that I was before on my Thrustmaster, but I'm still, you know, learning how to brake with the load cell and things like that, and then getting the settings just right for, you know, to my liking on the wheelbase. So I say I am sort of getting there, but it's just fantastic to have a fully working, you know, wheelbase and everything that doesn't disconnect anything. And I have to say the connectors are super secure as well, so I hopefully shouldn't be having any sort of issues that I had before. But yeah, it's just absolutely fantastic to have a fully functioning wheelbase and something that I really enjoy as well as something I really like. So the main question is, do I recommend MOZA to you guys? And honestly, if you have the money and you have the budget to get a MOZA setup, I say yes, it is absolutely fantastic for I'd say honestly an expert level, to be honest. I mean, it's sort of intermediate, you know. You could argue that Fanatec is probably a bit more better than MOZA, but honestly for me, MOZA with their ecosystem and what they're trying to push out to their, you know, customers is absolutely fantastic. You know, MOZA do flight sticks, they do, well, trucking, you know, wheels as you can see here, and obviously racing peripherals as well. And honestly, the demographic that they push out to is fantastic compared to, you know, say Thrustmaster that only do flight and steering wheels. And obviously Logitech do a bit more than obviously, you know, just steering wheels. Obviously, you know, they do, you know, microphones and things like that, so they do have a bit more of a demographic in that sort of sense. But in terms of simulation, I'd say MOZA is a very, very good choice. I'll try and leave links in the description to basically every single part of the setup that I got if you guys are interested in basically getting everything that I did. And I think altogether the whole thing cost me around £2,000 ish. You know, that is including, you know, the stand, the wheelbase, everything that I got to basically make this MOZA setup work. So I'd say it's roughly around £2,000 for me, which honestly does sound a bit big, and it is. I'm not ignoring the fact that that is quite expensive, but for me to get a wheelbase that is literally like this and makes me feel like I am actually driving the truck, it's honestly a whole nother level, and it's something that I'm very happy with investing in, because I honestly feel like I'm so much more sucked in and immersed to, you know, any game that I'm playing that, you know, that involves a steering wheel. Like I said, you know, with ETS2, just having the stalks here, even though it looks stupid, but being able to just naturally, you know, flick down a lever to activate the indicators or wipers or whatnot, or even the cruise control, it just adds a whole nother level, and it's something that I'm very happy about. So yeah, around £2,000 to get all of this equipment, I don't think for me is too bad, but obviously it is, you know, it is dependent on your budget, on what you can spend on a wheel. But I think I'm going to end this video here because I want to play some more ETS2 with my wheel. So I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and make sure to subscribe as well for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. But until then, take care and peace out, and as always, stay fetchy.